Oh, I'll start, I guess. Okay, I'm Haley. I am the Director of Academic Advising for the College of Engineering.
And my name's Katie. I'm a college advisor, and I work in the office, undergrad office with Haley.
And we do have a couple other college advisors who you'll get to meet once you're on campus. And you also have major advisors, and we will talk today about how you will utilize those resources and other resources on campus. Let's see how we go here. Yay. All right. So if you have all done the online orientation, which hopefully you have seen that there is something called gear. You can receive a hard copy of gear if you come to Cali training, if you're an international student, or if you just stop by our office in Harold Frank Hall 1006. You can pick one of these up, a hard copy. You can also access it online. There's a PDF there. Make sure you're using the proper year, which for you all is 2019-2020. The requirements do change year to year, so it's important that you're using the correct gear. We would like to make sure that you're taking some notes today because we were going to tell you a lot, and although you can always come back and reference this, we are recording it. If you have some notes that you know where they are on a sheet of paper, then hopefully you can look back on those if you need help in the future. To incentivize taking notes, we will have a drawing or a raffle in the fall quarter where you can show us that you took notes. We'll enter you into a raffle and you can win something fun, like an engineering t-shirt or something like that. So do take some notes if you can. So in the beginning of this booklet, there's information about how your AP and IB and A-level scores might transfer. There's information about general education requirements, and then all the major requirements and grids are in the back. So this is a really helpful document, and we hope you hang on to it. There's also course descriptions and prerequisites in the middle, so you can look at the different courses you'll be taking and the different majors. And maybe most importantly, there's contact information for all advisors and other campus resources in the back on page 56. You can find our contact information in your other major and all your academic advisor contact information and some helpful links. So our main message in the advising office is to reach out for help when you need it. So we are a good place to start for help. If we can't answer your question, we will direct you to the people or the person that can. We have contacts all over campus. We've been working here a long time, so we're always happy to make a contact for you, introduce you to somebody who can help you solve your problem or get you to where you want to be. So our contact information is on the screen now. We're in Harold Frank Hall. We're open for walk-ins. You don't need an appointment. You can just walk in to talk to an advisor from 9 a.m. to noon and 1 to 4 p.m. And there's our phone number and our email address. And we do recommend that you ask an advisor. We're paid to be here. This is our job. We're paid to know answers, to know resources on campus, and to get you connected. If you ask your friends for information, if you ask the internet for information, you might get bad information. And if you get bad information and make a bad decision, there's not a lot we can do to help you, although we will try. But if you ask us, we'll give you the correct information. So really do try to reach out if you need help making a decision, if you're uncertain about your next steps, if you're meeting a challenge and you're not sure how to handle it, we're happy to help you. So as I mentioned, we are your college academic advisors, and we primarily handle general education, so GEs, that's what that's called, policies, and deadline enforcement. So for us in the College of Engineering, that means we're really, really strict about deadlines. So if you need to drop a class, you need to do so before the drop deadline. Petitions, so we have all of our own petitions. If you think you deserve an exception to a rule, perhaps you didn't add a class and you've now talked with an instructor and you want to add a class after the add deadline, you could come to us for a petition to add a class late. We also handle study abroad in our office. We'll have an information session in the fall for students who would like to study abroad. We have a college honors program. Some of you may have been admitted to that. If you weren't admitted to it, you can apply after your first year or after your second year if you have a 3.5 GPA or higher. And again, we just are here to be a resource to you. We know about campus resources, and it's our job to know about those and to help you figure that out. So you also have a major advisor. Your major advisors will help you with specifically your major curriculum. So if you have questions about how to select electives, or if you feel like you may have already satisfied a requirement in your major, you would ask your major advisor those questions. Similarly, if you need help because perhaps you took a quarter off, or you need to repeat a class and you need to rework your grid, you would talk with your major advisor about how to reorganize this to fit your needs. A major advisor is also a good place to start if you want to take advantage of research and do research on campus. They're well connected with faculty in their department and can help you with that. You're also welcome to contact faculty all on your own. If you are interested in doing research, you can email them, you can show up to their office and talk to them. As I mentioned, we're very strict about deadlines. So there are deadlines to add, there are deadlines to drop, and there's a deadline to change your grading option from pass, no pass to letter graded or vice versa. Although we may allow for some exceptions, we do recommend that you come into our office to talk to us about those exceptions. We're going to walk you through the process. We'll tell you what type of documentation you might need. We'll give you a good sense of if that's going to be approved or not. Particularly in the case of the drop deadline or the grading option deadline, we're not going to make a lot of exceptions. So you would have had to have something really big happen, and you'd want to come in and talk to us about that as soon as you can so that we can offer you the best options for you. You are responsible for making changes to your schedule. So we have added you to classes because you weren't able to attend orientation. This is the only time we will do that for you. And anything you want to change from now on is your responsibility. You will have to make the changes, and we won't ever enroll you in classes again. So do become familiar with deadlines and make sure that you're adjusting your schedule accordingly. All the deadlines are posted on Gold. You can also reference us if you have any confusion about what those deadlines are. And those are some important ones. Also, making sure to pay on time. If you don't pay your fees and tuition on time, you will be dropped from all your classes. So that's a very important deadline. A little bit about the grid. So you've heard about the grid and the online orientation. It shows how you'll complete a degree in 4 years. There are capstone design projects in 4 of our majors. That means in your senior year, you'll be completing a project, working on a problem with your team to solve. It's a sequence that requires that you be here in a 4th year. So for everyone except computer science, you're required to have that capstone, so that means you'll be here 4 years. Computer science majors do not require the capstone. It's up to you. There is a capstone, and it is a great experience if you can be in it. But computer science majors potentially could graduate early. And you can talk with your academic advisor in your major or in the college to help you understand the rules about that. The other reason we've designed this the way we have is because we make sure the courses in a single quarter don't conflict with one another. So if you go off grid and make changes to this without consulting somebody, it might mean that you create a conflict in your schedule and you can't be 2 places at once. So we don't want you to do that. It also might mean that if you skip a class that was required and was on your grid, that might have been a prerequisite to other classes, and now there's nothing left for you to take because you don't have the prerequisite. So please make sure that you talk with an advisor before you go off grid. All right, the entry-level writing requirement. So we have up there a list of all the ways to complete the entry-level writing requirement. The most common scores are a 30 on the ACT English Language Arts or Combined English Writing, depending on when you took it. 680 or better on the SAT reading and writing, a 3 or higher on AP English, either exam, a 5 or higher on the IB English, higher level exam. Let's see, or if you have college level transfer work. So if you have any questions about if you have or have not completed this, please email us so that we can help you figure that out. If you have not met the entry-level writing requirement, we need for you to take a placement exam to start taking writing or composition courses. So for domestic students, the analytical writing placement exam information is there. That's in the days prior to classes starting. For international students, the English language placement exam information is listed there, and that is after before Cali training. It's very important that you check your email frequently. You can access your email through the UMail website listed there. This is your official university account, and this is the only email address we will be able to communicate to you with. So you will get emails from us. They are very important. We won't reach out to you unless it is something that's very urgent. So we do want you to check your email regularly. And if you need help, to reach out to us through your email address, your university email address, so that we can respond to you. We won't be able to provide information to you if it's from your personal address. And please don't forward your email. It frequently results in emails being marked as spam, or again, if you email us back from your personal address, we won't be able to confirm any information with you. So we frequently will email you from an email address, CoE-info, that's up there. That's us. It's a way for us to be able to respond to all students, even if one of us is out that day. But do know that we check that multiple times a day during the working day. You're welcome to email us there as well. If you see the tag ugrad-announce, that's an announcement from one of our student organizations or from us. We typically make announcements about events that are coming up, maybe a company's coming to campus to recruit you, or we have a student org that's having a meeting and they would like you to come. So please do at least read the subject line so you make sure that you're getting to the events that you want to get to. And please follow us on Instagram. If you have Instagram, our handle is there. We run the stories. Katie runs the stories. So if you follow the stories, you'll get reminders about all those important deadlines, about all those fun events. So we do recommend that you add us on Instagram.
We share a lot of opportunities for free food. So follow for free pizza and free sandwiches.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm going to take over for some fall quarter course enrollment conversation. So we'll talk a little bit about GOLD, which is the registration portal that you will all use to register or edit classes. I know a lot of you guys have already logged in and are pretty familiar. So fall 2019 course enrollment, we enrolled all of you in the required classes that you absolutely need to be in for fall. This might mean chemistry and a lab. This might mean a math class. This might mean an electrical engineering class or a chemical engineering class. So it is really important that you check your schedule on GOLD and compare it to what we've done in the grid or what you have on your grid for fall and see what you still have to enroll yourself in at the beginning of September. You have already received an email with instructions about what you should add individually or what we might have enrolled you in. So do be sure you've looked over that email and read it carefully. We've also given instructions into what you might want to add or waitlist for. Do not drop any courses you were enrolled in without checking with us first. If you drop a chem lab, we can't promise that we're going to get you back into a chem lab. As Haley mentioned, we've enrolled you in courses as a courtesy that a lot of students don't get on this campus, and we won't be able to extend it beyond this time or in any other quarter. So once you drop a class that has an active waitlist, that seat might not be there for you when you go to get it back. So don't drop anything without checking with us first. And as we already said, and I want to make it very clear, this is the only time we can manipulate your schedule, especially outside of our majors and our courses. So we have no control over math enrollment. We have no control over physics and chemistry enrollment in the normal school year outside of orientation. So you have to work with those departments to get back into those classes if you happen to drop them. All right, so GOLD, Gaucho Online Data. It's the system in which you will do all of your enrolling for future quarters. You can check your grades there. You can track your progress. This is also where you can order transcripts, check unofficial transcripts. So that's a really important link. Everybody should save it. Everybody should bookmark it in their phones because you're going to need it over and over. And very, very important, we have to say, never share your password to your GOLD account. We have no way to differentiate who's on the other side of that login. And if your family happens to go in and accidentally drop you from a math class, we're not going to be able to verify that. And we won't be able to get you back into it because your mom dropped you on accident, not you. So never, ever, ever give out your password to your GOLD. You are the only one who should ever be logging into your GOLD and making adjustments. So, they are working on making demo videos available under help. At this time, there might be one or two. It's not very robust. But we're here to help you navigate the system. So if you were to log in and you wanted to see what we've done for your fall, you click on My Schedule. As you can see, it might default to summer because that's the current quarter that we're in. Even if you're not here, you can change that to fall, and you'll see what we've enrolled you in. This is what the general schedule screen looks like for a sophomore CE major. As you can see, you have enrolled classes up top, and then if you wanted to waitlist, it would show up right where we've marked any waitlist classes will be added here. So if you want to go in September and waitlist for things and see, make sure it happened, make sure you're on that list. If it shows up on your schedule page, you're there. This page also shows you your final exam time. So all of our final exams are based on when a lecture is offered each week. And so if you never have a conflict with lectures, you will never have overlapping finals. That's very, very important. There's a reason why we don't encourage students to create conflicts in their schedule. The system will not block you from doing this, but you might have to end up in two places at once for finals, and that's impossible. So this is also where you can make sure that you don't have 3 finals in one day. That's something that it might be unavoidable at some point in your college career. We really don't want you to do that to yourself for the first quarter. So if you happen to pick up a general elective class and it's on the same time as has a final on the same day as your math and your CS, you might want to change that GE. Okay, so here are the modifications that you can use to what we've already put you in. So as we already said, you can have a drop button. You should not drop if it's a class that you really, really need. It will not let you drop if that drop would put you under 12 units. So our students need to be in 12 units to be full-time, especially as an international student or a student living in campus housing. You have to be full-time to qualify for those things. So you always need to be in 12 units per quarter. And once you register in 12 units, the system will lock you there. So if you are in a 12 units with a general education class and you want to drop it for a different one, you have to add that other one in, get up to 16 units, and then you can drop back down to 12. The modify is a button that allows you to do things like change your grading option from letter or pass no pass. So you can modify classes there. And switch is something that might be popular for a lot of you. If we put you into a review discussion time that is too early for you, we put you in an 8 a.m. discussion for the math lecture, and you would like to be in a 12 o'clock discussion for the math lecture, you should use the switch button. What that does is it saves your seat in the same lecture, and it will show you if there is space in other discussion times to move to. Something important to note, discussion versus lecture. Discussion sections will meet a couple times a week, usually on a Monday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. That's the common combination. And then many classes will have a review or discussion section. Those are going to be listed underneath the multi-day lecture. And to enroll in a class that has a discussion section, you actually add the discussion. All of our discussion enrollment feeds into the list for the lecture. So you can never enroll in a lecture without having a seat in a discussion. So that means if all the discussions are full, you're not going to be, even if you see a seat in a lecture, if every discussion is full, you will not be able to add it. So that's when I'm saying lecture versus discussion. A lecture is taught by the faculty. You'll go to that 2 to 3 times a week. And then you'll go to a discussion review once a week with a TA, a teacher's assistant, who attends the class and then reviews all the content from that week. So think of it as a designated study hour of review. Many times those discussions are mandatory for your grade or for participation. They're very important to go to. So you can switch discussion times within the same lecture by using the switch button. As Haley mentioned, registration pastimes are in gold. This is a very important list to know where to find. It's always in the gold bar at the top. If you click on registration, go to the current quarter, you'll find all our important deadlines. You'll find your past 2, which is going to start, like I said, in the first week of September. So everybody should go log into their gold, see when your past 2 is starting in September, and save that time in your calendar, because you're gonna wanna log in right when that past time starts. And if there is a general education you know you wanna add, you're gonna wanna add it right away. You never wanna delay registering at the top of a pastime, because other people are gonna go into their registration periods and they might take the seat that you really wanted. So it's always important to know when your pastime starts, when you're gonna be able to register for classes, and have those saved in your phone and with reminders. In future quarters, if you do not use your past 1 for registration, not only will you make it very difficult to get math and physics and all of those classes that the rest of the campus wants, but you're gonna get charged a $50 fee. So do use your first pass to grab some classes. Always get to 12 units in your first pass, and then come and talk to us if you have any concerns. Underneath your pastimes are all of our important deadlines. As Haley said, we send out some Instagram reminders, but these are important deadlines that you're responsible for. Please save them in your phone, put them on your calendar as a reminder. All of the deadlines typically are for 11:45 p.m. at night. So don't assume that the system will let you drop a class at 11:59 on the last day. It's not going to. Everything ends at 11:45 p.m. And if the system crashes at that time, there's nothing we can do to help you. So it's usually good to make any adjustments that you want to make on the last day by 5, because we're still in the office, and if you come across any problems, we'll be there to help. Very little changes between 5 o'clock and 11:45. Okay, so pastimes, you have specific unit limits for pastimes, and those are listed here. You will all be in past 2, so you can all go up to 19 is the maximum for this pastime. And we really wouldn't recommend taking anything over that for your first quarter. Again, check all the deadlines to make sure you're making your adjustments on time. These are obviously not this year's dates. Do not save these dates. These are from 2018. So please log into Gold. Save the new dates. So if you're looking for classes, many of you will have space to add in a general education or a writing class. There are a couple different ways. You can use the general Find Courses page, where you can search by department and see all of the classes that are being offered in that department. Or you can use advanced search, which is what we will teach you how to do if you were to come into our office, because this is the way we find classes for you. Again, at the top, you'll see quarter, department. There is subject area. The main ones that you'll want to focus on are down at the bottom, which is may apply to GE requirement 4, and the area. So this drop down will drop down by college. So you can always select may apply to GE requirements for College of Engineering, and anything that then click search. Anything on that list is going to be some kind of GE for our college. If you want to get more specific, if you know that you would like to take an art and you would like to get your art requirement out of the way, that's area F. And so you would be able to say, may apply to GEs for College of Engineering in area F. And it will give you a list of all the classes for fall quarter that would fulfill that requirement. Again, lower division. So this is another helpful filter to use. Undergraduate lower division versus undergraduate upper division. Lower division means classes that are in 199, 1 to 99. They're under the 100 series. As a first year, you'll only be taking classes under the 100 series. Once you have 90 units earned via AP or campus work, you will be at a junior standing and you'll be able to enroll in upper division classes. Those are anything that starts with 100 or higher. Classes in the 200 or higher sequences, those are graduate level classes. You will always have to get the permission of a department and the college to enroll in those as an undergraduate student. You'll never be able to add that in yourself. So for now, if you'd like to simplify your GE list, you can filter it to undergraduate lower division and take out things that you won't be able to enroll in. Got a little ahead of myself in the slides, because here we explain how you can change this to College of Engineering and pick specific GE areas or special subjects. So again, this goes over most courses have a lecture and a discussion. This is what the lecture looks like. It's at the top, and then all of the discussion times are listed below. As you see, discussion times are the ones that have the add button next to them, not the lecture. Obviously, in a classroom that can see almost 900, there are a lot of different times for you to pick in terms of discussion. All of them are equal. Any of them work as long as you'll attend and it works for your schedule. So if you'd like to know what kind of GE area a class is filling, you would check under course info. You should always check under course info that a class is giving you the GE area you're looking for. What that will look like is down at the bottom here. So when you click course info, it'll give you the description, it'll give you prerequisite requirements. It'll also at the bottom say may apply to GE requirement. If it does not say that, it's not a GE, and you probably shouldn't be taking it unless it's for personal interest, which is great. That's fine. If you want to take a GE, it should look like this. It should have engineering designated, and it might say something like area D and area world cultures. This means this GE is going to satisfy both of those areas. Waitlists and crashing is the class that you want full. For a lot of you, math and writing 2, those might be full. Some GEs that you wanted, those might be full. So you will have to waitlist. Crashing is a term that you might not have heard before. It means attending a class even if you're not registered. So if you add yourself to the waitlist for a math class and you want to get into that class, you need to be attending even if you're not registered, in order, 1, to not fall behind in the material, and 2, to communicate to that faculty and to that department that you're trying to get into their class. So they will take both an online wait list, and then they will also take a crash list in class on the first day. If you're not there to put your name on that crash list, they're not going to give you a spot in that class over the people who were there on the first day. So always consult with the department website to see if they have a crash or waitlist policy. They will also put notes in gold. So some people will have waitlist and crashing notes right in that course info page. If it's a course for your major, come and speak to us because we might be able to help you out. Or we might be able to reassure you that you're taking that class early. It's not that necessary. We'll find you an alternative. Always add yourself to a wait list if you want to get into a class, if there is one available. If the class has made no wait list available, then you will have to attend in person on the first day. And again, always attend in person if you are trying to get into a class. And you continue attending in person until the faculty tells you you're in the class, or until they tell you nobody else is getting into the class. So if you really want a seat in a course that's full, crashing is the way to go. Waitlisting for a course. So some of your classes or preferred GEs might be full. You'll see a waitlist button right next to that class. So instead of add, it'll say waitlist. It'll say add next to waitlist. Click waitlist. You will only be able to do this once you've enrolled in 12 units. So if you're in 10 units right now, you have to get up to 12 in order to waitlist for anything. So a waitlist will pull up all the options for a discussion section. You can select multiple options if you'd like. Always check your schedule and make sure you're not waitlisting for anything that will conflict with something you plan to keep, because if you do get in, it's not going to work for you. So you can select as many options as possible that work for your schedule. You can also link a waitlisted course to a registered course. So if you got your second choice of a GE, but you really still want to go after your first choice, you can link one GE to another. And the benefit to that is the system is going to count it as the same 4 units. So you can waitlist for a class even if you're at 16 units right now. You can waitlist for an alternate class by linking it to one of yours. Only do this if you know you want to get rid of that linked class. If you're registered in math and you really want to waitlist for writing, do not link your writing to math. You should never link general education to required courses, because you could risk losing your required course. So in general, linking GEs to GEs is fine, but come talk to us otherwise, because we might say don't do that. You could risk losing your seat in the other thing. So link first choices to second choices. Don't link GEs to required things. All right, so beware of duplicate matriculation. I know some people had questions about retaking classes that they might have already earned units for via AP work or via transfer work. That is considered duplicate matriculation, and you would have the units from our campus class removed upon a registrar review. So you cannot receive credit for courses that you've already completed. That includes AP and IB. If you are unsure about your placement, reach out to us, talk to us, because we have workarounds for that. You can crash and audit a math class if you really haven't taken math in 2 years and you're not sure. We have solutions for you in that. So do come talk to us. We don't want to force anybody into classes that they're not prepared for. But also your AP work very likely prepared you pretty well for some of these introductory classes. So don't be too worried. Please consult with an advisor if a class we enrolled you in or that you enroll yourself in sounds like something you've already taken, because we will want to make sure that it's, again, not duplicate matriculation. So an example of this, if you took the APBC, you have placed out of Math 3A and 3B. These are calculus courses. You're going to register directly into Math 4A. That's a linear algebra course. So you will not be able to, the system will remove your units if you take 3A or 3B. AP Psychology is another one. That's a GE that will come over as a Psychology 1 class on our campus. So when you send that AP Psych class over to us and it shows up in your transcript, it's going to look to us like Psych 1. So do know your AP credit, especially with GEs and with math, that you're not taking duplicate matriculation. And we have a fun event that the first half is not required, but heavily encouraged. The second half is mandatory. We call it Discover Engineering. This is a resource fair strictly for our college. No change of majors, only our new engineers, our new transfers. We have free lunch. We have all of our orgs there to talk to you. And we have a lot of our resources from campus. So if you're interested in studying abroad, or if you're interested in our technology management program, which is an entrepreneurial certificate and business certificate you can get, all of those people will be there to talk about the extra things you can do while here for the next 4 years. So that's very exciting. And then the follow-up is a mandatory department meeting where you will all meet your department advisors and have some expectations laid out about the process for the next 4 years. So do look out for our invitation to that. And now we're about 40 minutes in. We have time for questions.
Should we address some of those common questions we got?
Oh yeah, common questions, definitely. Double majoring was a very common question that we got from a lot of students upon registration. It's possible. You cannot double major in 2 engineering majors. You have to do those within 2 colleges. So what we call, that's dual college enrollment. It would be in letters and science or College of Creative Studies and engineering. That does mean you have to meet the general education requirements for both of those colleges. If you're adding in letters and science, that will mean taking more general education than what we require. There are also policies about overlap, which we can talk to you about. It's difficult to do. Most of our engineering degrees have very full quarters that not a lot of it can shift, and is difficult to fit in an entire extra degree around that and do both successfully and also maintain a good balance of personal health and wellness. So I like to advise that if there is an area that you're very interested in that you're going to double major in, see if it has a minor, because a lot of the time that's enough to diversify you as a student, and you're not overwhelming yourself in your upper division classes, because it might feel manageable when you're in your first year. I promise you it gets harder, especially for our MEs and our chemies. It only gets harder in that junior year. So that is something to keep in mind.
I think there are also some questions about changing your major. To change out of the College of Engineering to a College of Letters and Science or Creative Studies major is a bit easier depending on the major and depending on when you're trying to switch to. So you would go to the College of Letters and Science or the College of Creative Studies, or directly to the other major that you would like to switch to, and you would talk to them about the requirements and what you would need to meet to change into that major. It would be the same if you're adding a major as a double as well. To change within the College of Engineering is a bit of a different story. It's quite a bit more challenging because there is a required set of coursework you would have to complete. You'd have to earn a certain GPA, a very high GPA, and then there would have to be space for you in the course. So our majors don't take many change of majors. You would be competing against other students who are also trying to change their major. So it can be a bit of a difficult process. We would encourage you to talk with the major advisor for the major you'd want to switch into. And they can give you the requirements for that, the best ways to maybe handle the course load while also pursuing your backup major, the current major you're enrolled in. And we're also happy to help you with that.
AP work. To know what AP work you might have or what IB higher level credit you might have. That's in our gear, which you won't have a physical copy of yet, but you can find that online. So if you were to Google search UCSB gear, we are the second thing that comes up. The first thing is a bunch of sweatshirts and shirts. The second thing is our College of Engineering gear publication link. So just click on that link. It'll take you right to a PDF. And on page, I think it's 5, you'll find the start of, you'll find change your major, but also AP work.
AP, right.
Page 8?
7.
The start of page 7, you'll find our IB list. So if you took a test, it's going to tell you if it earns you units, it's going to tell you if it gives you GE credit, and if so, for what area. And on the next line, it's going to tell you if it comes over as a class that is on our campus. The next page has all the list of AP work exactly the same. So do look over that list, maybe print out that one page. Don't print out 60 pages of gear. We're gonna give you one. But maybe print out that one page and highlight the tests you took. That's what you're coming in with. So be sure you're not taking an Area D if you already have AP Government and AP US History. Those are both Area Ds. You only need to take one. So in general, it's good to look for G, E, or F, because a lot of you might have, if you have AP work, you probably have Area D done. So we have a little question. Students for college are all required to spend at least 4 years because of the capstone. So yes, I have not seen any major successfully manipulate a 4-year degree down into 3 outside of the computer science major. I've been in this college for 4.5 years now. So if you are the student who does it, I applaud you. It would not be easy, and because of the sequence of requirements, it really is near to impossible. Most of the year of required courses are all preparation for the next. So it's very, very difficult to push anything up and have the proper preparation to do that degree successfully. So we did answer that. Any other questions? Questions about GEs? Gaucho health insurance, I know, was a question. I don't know if this person's here, but you can waive that online. We definitely recommend looking into and ensuring that you have a healthcare provider access in the area before you do that. Student health is very convenient. They'll even come pick you up. They have cars to come and pick you up if you're very, very sick and can't make it to student health. So only waive that if you definitely know you have an alternate resource, because you really don't want to be miles and miles away from your parents and sick and have no resource to help you. Answer live. Hello. So we have a number of CS with us. Where can I get information about graduating early in CS?
You can, yeah, you have to talk to an academic advisor. You can talk with the major advisor in the computer science department to get a better idea of what that might look like. Unfortunately, it's very challenging. There are sequences within computer science as well, and also their classes can fill up quite quickly. So although you might plan to do have a certain schedule in a certain quarter and you have everything laid out so that you have the prerequisites, you might not get into the class because you might have less, your pass time might not be as good as like an older student, or just for some other reason it's full and you can't make it happen. So I think we've seen a lot of students attempt to do even a 3-year degree. Very few have actually been able to do that in 3 years. And perhaps part of that is because there's a lot of fun and interesting things to do here on campus. And if you're feeling bored or you want something else to challenge you, we're happy to provide you with a lot of options to do that. Students will get involved in research, internships, pick up a minor or even 2 minors that can really supplement your time here at UCSB. Yeah, in general, all the students who we've seen who could have graduated early stuck around for quarters because they wanted the extra education. So it's really, if you're going to be here anyways, stretch out your time, be here for the full time, and get the most out of all of it. For financial reasons, a lot of people do want to graduate early. CS is the only major where you might be able to graduate, especially a quarter early. Will you graduate a full year early? That's very difficult. Could you potentially finish your degree after winter quarter? That's very likely, and we can show you how things will shift forward for you to do that. So a question about vaccines and UCSB health insurance before the school year starting. I don't actually know the answer to that question. I think you should contact or look at the website for the student health. If you just Google UCSB student health, you should find all the vaccine information and various phone numbers if you need to call or email. It is very important you get those vaccines done. So they are there to help you figure out the best way to do that.
And if you're just asking if has your health insurance kicked in yet, pretty much that first week of welcome, once you guys are moving into campus, this is a resource for you. So if you're just concerned about that first week, once you're on campus, you're a student and you have access to that student health. Otherwise,
definitely need to check with the experts, which is people in student health.
Yeah. When can I access my financial aid award? Again, this is definitely outside of our wheelhouse. So to help you guys understand, our office will direct you to the proper office to answer your question. A lot of the time we won't know the answer, or if we do know the answer, we don't like to touch on it too much, especially with things like financial aid. Policies change all the time. Award disbursement policies change all the time. Disbursements change all the time, and we can't advise on it, but we do have a staff of counselors and advisors within financial aid office. Those award letters should be going out, but I don't know when you'll actually be able to accept that disbursement. Their website has a very robust student frequently asked questions page, or you can always just email any one of their staff that says financial aid counselor, financial aid advisor. Any one of those people can help you understand that process. And again, Google is your friend, or just any general search engine, UCSB, and then the thing you need. So this would be UCSB financial aid, and that's going to pull up the page for the financial aid office where you will find all kinds of contact information. So if you always just preface something with UCSB math, you're going to get the math department. So that's a good way to start that search, but you could always come into our office and we'll direct you to them.
Question about higher level English or standard level. That may have been an error on the slide. I'm just reviewing our gear notes here, and only higher level IB exams can be taken for credit towards UCSB requirements. So I apologize for that error.
It is standard level will not earn units for this campus. So we will not have anything to place in that requirement.
Question about Cali training. Are international students with the U.S. passport required to participate in Cali training? Actually, I don't know. I would imagine, so OISS, or the Office of International Students and Scholars, is responsible for Cali training and making sure that you're meeting visa requirements as part of that. So if you've received information that you're required to attend Cali training, then you're required to attend. If you feel like you're exempt, you should contact the Office of International Students and Scholars to ask about that.
That just might not be a status that their system looks for.
Yeah.
And you could maybe actually be waived if you should talk to them.
Any additional questions? We will remind you to definitely reach out to us through that email address listed on your screen, CoE-info. We will get right back to you as soon as we can, or we can also send you the links or email addresses to some of these other offices if you can't find their contact information online. We can get pretty specific, and we will send a follow-up email with a lot of these links and contact information as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out at any point. We are here all summer. We're here all year. So we will definitely get you the information you need.
Thank you guys for joining us. I know it's probably early where a lot of you guys are, so we appreciate that you woke up and started your day.
Yep. Yay. We'll see you in the fall.
Can't wait to meet you at Discover Engineering. Send us your emails. Good luck with your past two. If you have ideas of what you want to do and you want to clear them with us beforehand, send us an email. If you identify some classes that you want to add in and you want to make sure that's going to work, send us an email. CoE info. All right. Have a great day.